I'm Dan, this is at Midlife Crisis Motorcyclists, and today I'm asking, am I a Scrambler guy? And if I am, what even is that? The bike I have to help me answer that question is this new Srambler 1200X, a new addition to Triumph's big Scrambler range, and one that takes it in a slightly interesting new direction. Now, I have to confess, I'm really been looking forward to riding this bike. I loved the little Srambler 400X that I rode just recently in Spain. The Srambler 900 is one of my favourite bikes from my admittedly short riding career to date. But this is the big boy, isn't it? This is going to be quite a step up from those other two bikes. But it's also, as I say, an interesting new change of direction for the big Scrambler for this model year 24 update. So let's talk around some of the details on that before we go for a ride and see what it's like. Now, when the Srambler 1200 launched back in 2019, you could have it in two main versions. They were the XC and the XE, which gets a bit confusing unless you enunciate very clearly, but we'll muddle through best we can. Now, both were based around the same 1200cc parallel twin with 90 horsepower and 110 newton meters of torque. That's the same engine as on this. They have tweaked it a little bit. They've changed the exhaust headers and had a little fiddle around. They brought the peak power and torque output down by 250 RPM, I think, to make it a little bit more flexible, but it's basically the same bike. Now, with their kind of long travel rear suspension, the upside down forks, rider modes, a few things like that, these Srambler 1200s were slightly different from the much more retro Bonneville-based Srambler 900. Obviously still part of Triumph's modern classics range, but just with a little bit more intent, a little bit more capability, shall we say. In terms of differences between the XC and the XC, the main one really was that the XC has slightly less suspension travel and maybe a slightly more road-biased setup, but it was still definitely a Scrambler. For this new 1200X though, Triumph has just moved the dial a little bit in quite an interesting way. Good news, at £11,895, it's £800 cheaper than the XC, but it still has that sense of quality that you'd expect for that money. So, you know, got all these nice fixture and fittings here, the way the cables and everything are just neatly integrated. It just has that attention to detail that you come to expect from Triumph's modern classics range. Bad news? Well, you lose the fancy Öhlins rear suspension and the adjustable Showa forks. You now get slightly more basic Marzocchi items in their place. You also lose the Brembo brakes that you had on the XC, slightly cheaper Nissin bits in their place. But perhaps the most significant change is a slight change in focus with a much more kind of road-biased setup for this new Scrambler X. That's manifested in the fact that the suspension has been chopped down to 170mm of travel as opposed to the 200mm of the XC. That does lower the seat height a little bit, makes it perhaps a little bit more easy to get along with. But it does slightly beg the question, doesn't it? Has Triumph dumbed down this big Scrambler and maybe cheapened it slightly? Or has it done something quite smart and put a little bit more distance between this entry-level big Scrambler and the kind of XE top model, made it a bit more accessible and road friendly as a result? Well, enough chat, time to go for a ride. Right, so I've explained a little bit about what this Srambler 1200X is all about. Let's give it a run and see how it goes. Now, I have to say, the idea of Srambler 1200X did feel a little bit intimidating, because I've seen a few of the XE Scramblers around, and they are a big old bike. They stand really tall, they look really butch, you know, they got that proper kind of off-road suspension, really high up. Yeah, they're a serious looking piece of kit. And the previous XC wasn't far behind in terms of suspension travel and potential and all that kind of thing. So as a kind of newbie rider, I will confess I was a little bit intimidated at the idea of the 1200. It's a big bike, it's the biggest engine I've ridden so far, but actually I'm quite reassured. So just to talk seat heights for a moment, one of the advantages of going to slightly lower suspension or shorter travel suspension is that the seat height on this X is now 820 mil. That's 20 millimeters down from the XC and 50 millimeters lower than the XE. So that's a pretty manageable size, and if you're a bit short in the leg you can get an optional seat which will bring it down to 795. So I was talking about accessibility in the intro, and that's what this 1200 Scrambler does, doesn't it? It opens up this big bike to a new crowd of people who might have been put off by the size of it before. So that's good. In terms of the rest of the sizing, I'm surprised actually, because it's, you know, it takes the kind of adventure bike format of a big 21-inch front wheel, 17 at the back, which is quite a lot bigger than the Scrambler 900 I rode before. You know, that's a 19 at the front, so it's a taller, kind of heftier front end, and it does take a bit of manhandling into the corners, but for all that, with that surprisingly low seat height and the fact it's quite short actually, it doesn't feel, I don't feel overwhelmed by any means. Now I'm just shy of 6 foot, so I'm not small, but it feels a lot friendlier in kind of size than I expected. So that's a really nice surprise, and it means I can concentrate a bit more on that engine. Now, in terms of power, it's quite a big step up. So the Scrambler 400X I rode last, that was 40 horsepower. The 900, that's 65 horsepower. Now I've got 90, which is not crazy power. There are more powerful bikes out there, but it's a chunk. 110 newton meters of torque, so it's a muscular, torquey engine in that kind of Triumph style. And true enough, 270-degree parallel twins, they're kind of everywhere in bike world now, isn't it? It's almost become a kind of default engine type, but Triumph ones seem to have a bit more character about them, and especially with this Scrambler format with the high level exhaust and all that kind of stuff. It's got loads of charisma, loads of grunt. I can't vouch for what difference the fact that the peak power and torque now come in 250 revs sooner than before make. I'm sure the previous one was pretty muscular as well, but it just shows that Triumph was going for kind of flexibility to try and make this bike even more user-friendly, and it really is. I mean, again, I say I'm not intimidated by the size. I was intimidated by the idea of a big, powerful bike, but really, the reality is it's very approachable. It's not scary at all. It's just got more, which is nice. More of the good stuff. So that's a nice surprise. I mean, it is a heavy bike, 230 kilos, so 90 horsepower against 230 kilos. It's never going to feel, yeah, it's not going to feel like a sports bike, is it? But that's only 7 kilos more than the 900. So in terms of power to weight, it is a bit more decisive. And I'm noticing when I rode the 900, you know, quite often you'd be ringing it out against the throttle stop, which wasn't unpleasant. It was quite nice. It's a nice feeling to be able to use all the performance of a motorbike like that. So let's scoot round here, and there we go. I mean, that's a good example. 5th gear, didn't have to shift down, plenty of grunt for getting around that car there. So, and you can ride it like that, or you can you know, you can shift down and you can get a bit more, you know, a bit more into it, tuck down. And for all that kind of, people get quite down on Scramblers, don't they? Or, you know, there's a certain sniffiness that maybe they're just hipster bikes, more about looks than actual performance. But I think, and that's where the suspension comes into it. The fact that you've got that bit more suspension travel, less than an adventure bike, more than a kind of road optimised bike like a Speed Twin. It's quite nice because on typically bumpy British roads, it means you've just got a bit more in hand. You know, if you hit a pothole or something like that, you're not going to get bucked off the bike. It's got the suspension there to swallow it up, but it's also comfortable, so, you know, it just soaks up the bumps, which is quite nice, you know, for kind of all-day comfort. But I think if you'd have one concern about riding a bike with longer suspension travel, it might be that it would be a bit kind of wallowy, you know, in that kind of mid-travel or in the middle of the suspension travel, or, you know, it dives under braking and things like that. And certainly a concern with going to this X model with its more basic suspension is you can't adjust the suspension anymore. But to be honest, I'm a beginner anyway. I don't really know what I'd be doing with adjustments anyway. And my experience of Triumph so far is that the kind of suspension settings it uses out of the box are usually really good. I experienced that on the Trident and this bike. And where it really works is in that kind of, when the suspension's in the middle of its stroke. A lot of suspension systems on cars and bikes, they always want to return you to that kind of static state, but Triumph seems confident here in letting it just float in that kind of mid-travel area. It's something I've noticed from the cars I've been testing over the years as well. British manufacturers just seem to have this habit of being able to make suspension systems that just work really well on our roads. And it's nice to see that that translates from car world to bike world as well. You know, I've always been impressed with the way, say, Lotus, McLaren, Bentley, everyone, all the British manufacturers, car manufacturers do it well. And so it seems does Triumph. I'll just scoot round here. There we go. So, you know, that was a slightly more decisive burst acceleration, third gear there, but it just sounded better, didn't it? So, although in that way of things, like a lot of modern bikes, I do wish it was just a little bit noisier. I'm sure there's aftermarket exhaust could cater to that if I wanted to. But yes, I think, you know, you could be sniffy about the whole Scrambler thing, but a motorbike's meant to be, yeah, it's meant to have a feel-good factor, isn't it? It's meant to kind of be, it's not much about the looks as it is the actual function of it. So I quite like the way the whole Scrambler thing works, to be honest. Like I say, I've not been riding long enough to really figure out what kind of motorcyclist I am, what genre of bikes I like, but I like the look of Scramblers. I like the ride comfort, the bump swallowing, and it doesn't seem like you lose much in terms of handling either, so am I a Scrambler guy? I could well be. But overall, I think what I take away from riding this 1200 was, as I said at the start, I came to it intimidated with the idea of this being a big bike with a big engine, more complex bike. It's got more of everything, more power, more suspension, more mode, more everything else. But for a beginner, I think it's confidence inspiring. And actually, that's an important thing I've not mentioned yet about this X compared with the XC that it replaces. So one of the things Triumph has added for this update, I said it's cheapened the suspension a little bit, but when it's taken away with one hand, it's added with another. So whereas previously only the XE had the kind of cornering ABS and traction control, they've added an IMU to this entry-level X. So now you get that kind of confidence-inspiring electronic safety net, which is, it's still a classic bike, but it's got all those kind of modern safety nets, which again for a beginner like me is really, really confidence inspiring. You've got the 5 rider mode as well. I'm using rain today because although it's not actually raining anymore, thankfully, the roads are a bit greasy, so it's got those safety nets, so I like that as well. So all in all, as I say, love the 400, love the 900. I think I might like this 1200 even more. Okay, so there we go. My first experience of Triumph's big Scrambler 1200. How did it go? Well, I'll get onto the specifics of the 1200X in a moment, but first of all, maybe talk about the sort of general Scrambler thing and why I think I rather like them. So, over the course of the ride I've just done, which is what, 170 odd miles across the Yorkshire Dales in early March, in mixed weather and all that kind of stuff, I think it just worked brilliant. It was good fun on the kind of fast and open A roads. The extra grunt of the bigger engine, definitely appreciated over the 900 that I've ridden before. So, you could get your groove on those faster roads, but then what the Scrambler does, which I think you couldn't do on, say, a sports bike or a more regular modern classic, is that you can take the kind of the lanes, the kind of slower roads, the tighter, twistier ones, maybe ones with potholes and a bit of gravel in the middle and all that kind of stuff, and you don't mind riding those at a slower pace, and it kind of opens up your route options. It's a nice change of pace, and then when you find the bigger roads again, obviously you've got the bike here under you to make the most of those as well. So it's just a bit of all sorts really. It can do anything, and obviously you look the coolest at the T-stop as well, don't you? Well, maybe not. But in terms of the Scrambler 1200X and how it fits into this new Scrambler range, and that question of whether Triumph has cheapened it, specifically with this bike, it's interesting. I think you can look at it one of two ways. So certainly some people won't like the fact that the suspension is a bit cheaper, a little bit more basic than it was on the previous XC. That's a fair point. I think it works really nicely on this bike, but I can see why people might miss the kind of blingier bits of that previous bike. On the flip side, you do get the IMU from the XE now, so it now has the cornering ABS, the cornering stability control, and that's a big confidence boost. And it's a big technical upgrade compared with what was before. In terms of the separation between this X and the top of the range XE, I think that makes sense as well, because previously when you looked at the XC and the XE, they were quite close in terms of their ability, and to be honest, if you were going for an XC, well, you'd probably just go for an XC anyway, pay a little bit more, get the blingier bits. But with the shorter travel suspension and the more kind of road bias, this X has kind of become a bit more of a bike in its own right. It kind of stands on its own 2 feet. And I think if you're not really looking to go off-road, you want the look of a Scrambler, you want a little bit of the versatility, but you're not going to be kind of sticking knobbly tyres on it and really sending it in the dirt, then yeah, it makes sense. And I think it making a little bit more road biased is a sensible move. So yeah, it works for me. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit like, and if you haven't already subscribed, then please do. That would be really appreciated. Join me in the comments if you want to ask me anything about the bike or just have a chat, and I'll see you for the next one very soon. Until then, ride safe.